Hi, friends, and welcome to Costuming in Color. We are a monthly YouTube show that's dedicated to showcasing amazing costumers of color and the people that support them. I'm Gigi, a history buff, historical costumer, and dabblist.
And I'm Noelle, a costumer who likes to play both sides of the historical and cosplay world. And today we're going to interview Christine from Sewstine.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
But first, some house rules. The first rule of CIC, Costuming in Color, is you don't talk about costuming in color, right?
No, the first rule is that you do talk about costuming in color. Tell everyone, tell your mom, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell everyone. And also do let us know who you'd like to see interviewed.
The second rule is that kindness matters. Aside from that, there are no rules.
Awesome. Let's get into it. Christine, where are you from originally?
So I was born in South Korea, in Seoul, and I came to the United States when I was 3.5. I am from the New York City, Queens area, Larchmont, and then the last 8 years I've been in the St. Louis area where I'm currently located.
And so where are you living now? Not specific city, but what region?
I live in Southern Illinois, St. Louis region, so in the 20 minutes outside of St. Louis.
Cosplay, historical, or both? And in just one word.
Both.
What is the costuming scene like where you live?
So initially, the costuming scene here is really cosplay based and mostly for anime. There's a lot of anime and there's also a lot of sci-fi. I wanted to get more people into historical costuming. So about 2.5 years ago, I started a historical costuming group in St. Louis, mostly based around the 18th century. We were originally called the St. Louis Georgians. And we did that for a while, and I actually was shocked. The first meeting, 12 people showed up at my house, and I was so excited. And now we have a Facebook group. We're now the St. Louis Historical Costuming Society, because we want to do Victorian, we want to do others as well. Like, I think a lot of us are starting to get into the medieval scene, and so because of that, we've been kind of expanded, and we really have a really great time. Before COVID hit, we were really meeting about once every month, once to do an event, sort of like, going for tea or going to the symphony or going to the opera, and we would dress for the time period of that piece. And then 1 month to just get together and sew with each other. And it's a ton of fun. And St. Louis has been really welcoming. Like, we've been on the radio. We were going to be on their morning news channel and everything. So if you're in the St. Louis area, please consider joining us.
I'm really sad because I was supposed to go to one of their events and hang out, and then COVID hit.
You were going to be our guest of honor.
I'm so sad. Okay.
I'm sad about that too.
Yeah. What is your internet handle and why did you choose it?
So my internet handle is Sewstine, and I get a lot of people asking me how to pronounce it. Some people say Sewstine. I don't really care as long as you know how to spell it, but the Steen is me. So my name is Christine, and my husband nicknamed me Steen, and he has this really cute nickname where whenever I'm doing something, I become that plus Steen. So whenever I'm at work, I'm Dr. Steen. Whenever I'm sleeping, I'm Sleep Steen. And whenever I'm sewing, I'm Sewstine. So it's, and Dog Steen and all sorts of Steens out there. But, so because of that, I thought this would be a blog mostly for sewing. So I put it as Sewstine.
I'm going to call you Christine from now on.
It's a little Frankenstein.
Roll off the tongue the same way. Since you do historical costuming, what time and place is your favorite?
1740s to 1780s, particularly 1750 to 1765.
And it's choice, like super choice.
Honestly, my favorite part is that Madame du Pompadour painting by Boucher, where she's wearing that teal dress covered in roses, and the ruffles, all the ruffles. There's so much shameless fluff in that one dress, and my favorite part of everything when I was growing up was ruffles. So the fact that their entire decade and a half obsessed with ruffles and putting ruffles on everything, it just speaks to everything I love about dresses.
For your cosplay, what type of characters do you gravitate towards?
I tend to like the strong female protagonist, completely honestly. I mean, they have to have a really good costume too. But for the most part, I really love the strong female characters, Princess Leia, Zatanna, there were two of my favorites when I was doing this cosplay scene. Maca from Soul Eater is honestly my single favorite cosplay on the planet. And I don't know if you know it, but she's just such a bad aunt. I do animal cursing because I have a 1.5-year-old. She's just so strong, and she never really whines about anything. And I like women who get stuff done. They have goals and they go for those goals, and nothing really stops them.
So tell us how you got your start in costuming.
So I initially just loved drawing and dresses in general. I think my first love was actually sort of illustration and Disney princess movies. I was obsessed with The Little Mermaid. I actually picked my name out of a name book, and after we changed my name with the school and everything, The Little Mermaid came out, and then the next day was, can I change my name again to Ariel? And my mom absolutely refused, but it would be pretty cool to be Ariel right now. But in any case, I loved Disney princess dresses and princess movies, but I realized as I grew older and older that my favorite part was always the dresses. So I started sewing when I was about 5, and I would make dresses with whatever I could. And then in high school, I started getting my hands on some cheap discount like fabric, 99 cents a yard from the bin and everything, and I would put things together that way. And then in college, I went to NYU, and they had the garment district nearby. So I would go to the garment district, and I would literally just be digging through these bins, and these silks would be like $1 a yard. And I would just pick them up and I would start sewing stuff. And I really liked the dresses in Sleepy Hollow. I know she's not that strong of a female character. She's not one of your bad aunt, characters. But at the same time, she just had the best dresses. And I made the black and white dress from Sleepy Hollow, and it was horrible. I didn't make it, wear it with a corset. The dress had zero structure, but it had me hooked. And from there on, I kind of gave up the other cosplay routes as much. I still did a little bit here and there, and I still do, but mostly I started focusing on historical.
Cool. What are your favorite parts of the costume or clothing to make?
The outside, completely. I don't like making the inside. I will pay money to not ever sew an inside garment ever. I have one shift, and the only reason I made that shift is because you can actually see the pleating in the sleeves, and that's the only reason I sewed it. So I don't like doing the insides. I don't like making corsets, and I will absolutely pay Cynthia Seche forever to make my corsets for me. She's from Red Threaded, by the way. And but really my favorite part is that moment when you see the dress on the dress form actually come together, and you see that the shape of the dress is correct and the silhouette is exactly on point, and that is the best feeling on the planet. So that's really that feeling is what gets me going. And then I make a point of finishing it, because I don't allow myself to cut into another fabric until I do, because otherwise I would have all these dresses where the shapes are correct and nothing else is finished, which incidentally I had about 5 of those, and I've given them all away.
What aspects of costuming drew you in? Why do you costume?
I costume because I love the beautiful dresses, and really that's it. I love the beautiful dresses, and I love the beautiful embroidery, and I just love looking at it. I love taking it in, and I love being able to feel like, I own it, or it's mine to some degree. So I think that's why I was always drawing all those Disney princesses when I was growing up, and I still draw a lot of princess-esque women, really. And it's because I think that I wanted to capture the fashion in it, and I realized instead of just kind of drawing it, I would really much prefer to sew it and actually wear it, because I want to wear those dresses. Every single time I drew a dress, I was like, I want to wear this dress. So I think now that when I look at dresses, I always make the dresses where I'm like, I want to wear it,
Yeah. Why would you not? That's the best part.
It's really funny. I tell people I hate actually putting on the dress, the process of lacing myself in and twisting myself in and trying to zip, pin it correctly. It's kind of causes me a lot of anxiety. That's the most anxious part for me, is actually trying it on. But once I'm in it, I never want to take it off. I just love wearing it so much.
What is your favorite or most epic completed project?
This is going to surprise a lot of people, but I think my most epic project is not actually one of my embroidered pieces. It's my red dress with my hand woven fly trim. I think that dress probably was somewhere between around 600 to 900 hours of work.
Oh my God.
Because each yard of trim took me about like 4 hours to weave, and there's about 38 yards of hand woven trim on that. And believe it or not, there's like another 8 yards that I like wove and didn't use because it wasn't good enough.
Hold up, Christine. I took your fly trim class and you said this is super fast and super easy.
So I said it was easy because I already did the work for you. Like I already figured it out. Like I actually, when I first started, there was, I think, half an article about how to kind of not fly trim, but that was it. Like nothing looked like the legit stuff. And Denise Hendricks of Romantic Recollections, who actually has this amazing class, like I kind of like worked with her and I still paid for the class, and I am still floored by how much more she's figured out after me. And I literally just spent like hours just like buying up different silks and trying them out and everything. And I bought 4 different types of looms to figure out how to best like make fly trim, because the original method of using the tape loom was not good for my wrist. And so I ended up using an ankle. And there was a lot of trim that could not be used and a lot of silk that just wasn't right. And it was so much experimenting, and it was really like, hands-on archaeology right there.
You're really awesome at that, and also I'm gonna need you to show me how to do that again.
Oh my God, please do it with me. I'm working on a dress right now, but unfortunately I really hate the base dress, so I may actually end up scrapping it, but we'll see.
When COVID's over, I'm moving in for a month.
Do it. This is actually, there's a bedroom here, there's a bathroom here, this is all yours.
Excellent. What is your favorite costuming memory?
I think my very favorite one is when I went to costume college for the second time. The first time I went, I didn't know anyone, and I felt kind of like an outsider, and it wasn't really fun because I just didn't know anyone. There was this whole live journal community of people who knew each other, but I was a resident at the time, so I couldn't really join in on the live journal because that takes time, and I chose sleep over that. So the second time I went, I was actually an attending. I actually had time to sleep. I actually had gone online and met people a little bit. And the second time I went to, and it was just so much fun. And it was meeting all these people who I like had read about, whose blogs I had been following. And, I actually unveiled Matt's first frock coat and my pink frock coat for the first time there, and people actually came up to me and they actually wanted to talk to me, and it was like being part of a giant family, and it was just such a wonderful feeling to be accepted by and be a part of this giant awesome family. Actually, that beats out Versailles, just for the record.
Wow. Yeah, the first time I ever saw you was that you didn't know who I was, but I took your picture. Yeah, I remember just being like, okay, it's breathtaking. These frock coats that got made, they are breathtaking.
I'm gonna have to go back in your Instagram and look at like what this particular frock coat is. Is the picture with you and your husband together?
Yes, we're both wearing them. Mine is bright pink, and it's a 1760s, and his is a 1780s. I didn't actually do the digitizing for that one at the time because I didn't know how. Since then, I've learned a lot. I've also learned how to make the fabric manipulate better. Actually, we'll be putting up that entire court suit for sale because I don't have room in my closet anymore.
Well,
but
you might want to talk a little bit about that, Christine, about your specific hobby of digitizing.
Oh, yes. Okay, so the reason I said people would be surprised that it's my red fly trim dress is because I'm probably known best for my embroidery, and my single favorite thing to make is actually a frock coat and court suit. And I love embroidery is just, it's such a fun activity. My big thing is I love to get historical embroidery, digitize it on a computer, which is where you draw it again on the computer so that an embroidery machine, a modern embroidery machine, knows how to stitch it out so it looks very similar. Of course, it's not going to be the same as an actual historical piece. And for that, I love to remake old 18th century frock coats. You know, those frock coats where you have embroidery from the neck all the way down to like the end of the breeches, and it's just rows and rows of like flowers. I love that so much. And that is probably my single favorite thing to make. Yeah.
She even has embroidered shoes. Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
I'm trying to get Augustine to do another set of embroidered shoes with me, but he's really busy right now.
Just get on the list.
I know, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Take my money.
Yeah.
So as far as groups or organizations, which ones are you in?
I'm in the St. Louis Historical Costuming Society. We're on Facebook. I started it and I'm still the president. And other than that, I'm not really in any official groups. I joined the Costumer Guild West in California just so I could go to costume college every year. But really, just being in that one group is already a lot of work. So I'm not really in any others.
Pro tip, if you want to go to costume college, it's actually cheaper to join the guild and then get a ticket than it is to buy a non-guild ticket to costume college. So
and you get like cool monthly newsletters.
Yeah.
So those are the two groups I'm in. Otherwise, I'm on just, some Facebook groups here and there, like the Georgian costuming group, which I also help moderate. But really, other than that, I'm more about sewing and just kind of making friends everywhere.
What cons or events do you recommend?
Let's just start with events first. If you like 18th century and these gowns with ruffles speak to you on some level, please at some point go to Versailles. Versailles every year in May or June, depending. It's usually the last Monday in May or the first May in June. They run an event called Fête Galante. Did I pronounce that right? Fête Galante. I've been twice and I still can't pronounce it. And basically, if you go into Versailles, there's like thousands of tourists. It's like 100 degrees and you can barely move, and you get to see everything, but everything is so crowded and you really don't get to experience it firsthand. If you go to Fête Galante, it's on a day when the museum is closed on a Monday. And basically you walk in and they hand you a glass of champagne. You're only allowed in through the doors if you're wearing a period appropriate high quality costume. And you go up the stairs and you go into the Hall of Mirrors, and then you dance the historical dances that they teach you there. And then everything is lit. Everyone is wearing period clothing with their cell phones out, but that only adds to the fun. And it feels like you've just been transported back in time to this amazing time. And, it is so much fun. It is the event that I would say everyone who likes this sort of thing absolutely should do, because it's actually surprisingly affordable. Tickets start at 140 euros for this event. And if you go at the middling level or the high level, they have unlimited buffet food and everything. And the food is delicious. And it's also unlimited champagne, which is essential. So it is so much fun. I highly recommend going. I've been twice. And the second time I was 8 weeks pregnant. No, I think I was 9.5 weeks pregnant. And I was so nauseous. I kept on running downstairs so I could throw up in my dress into a bucket.
Oh, poor thing.
So I really didn't get to enjoy it. Like, I left at around 10:30, which is really sad because at 12:30, everyone goes to the windows at the Hall of Mirrors and you look out, and then they shoot fireworks for everyone to watch from Versailles, because that's how balls would end in the 18th century. They would light fireworks. So
it's magical.
It's honestly, it's magical. I hope I sold you guys on it.
I'm already going. I was supposed to go next year, so we'll see if that actually happens.
Take me with you.
Absolutely. 100% you're invited.
Oh,
well, yeah. But I'd have to make a dress, right?
You can get a dress made. You can checkbook engineer any problem, friend.
You're right. You're right. So we're going to talk about that because I would like to go as well. That sounds like my kind of jam. Champagne dresses and fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's honestly my favorite. I've also been to Venice for Carnival, and that was really fun, but nothing beats like the magic of going to Versailles. And the nice thing about the Versailles event is it's not like you just go and you schmooze and you drink the whole time. They have like events. They teach you dancing. You take the dancing classes. And then you go into the chapel and you could hear a concert, and then you go and you hear different concerts, and you go on secret museum tours that they don't normally open.
Sounds good. Do you have any other events or cons that you want to recommend?
So obviously I'm a big fan of Costume College. That's the other big one that I really like to go to for historical costuming. It's really, the thing I love about Costume College is it's not about competition. Like, I guess you can compete with yourself, but really it's all about just like going there and taking classes and becoming a better costumer. And the first time I went there is how I learned how to put in sleeves, right? Because before I would make these dresses, but my arm motion would be this. And afterwards, I could actually do the full thing. So that was pretty nice. And I think Kathy Hay put in a class about Worth dresses. And, you know, I love Worth dresses. I haven't made one, and not everyone loves them. And I totally get it. But I think I don't know if I'm ever going to make a Worth dress because I feel like I already made mine with the Art Nouveau dress. Like, that's my Worth dress.
That dress is epic. I'm going to put a picture of that on screen now.
Thank you. Oh, and this dress that Noelle is showing was kind of half historical, half invented by me because the bodice doesn't exist. So that actually makes me happier and love it more.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
I'm curious who your costumer crush might be.
Oh my God. Feel free to edit this out if it comes out too creepy, Noelle.
Okay.
So back when I was a resident and I was like, you know, just perusing everything, I had two major costume crushes, and that was Lauren Stowell of American Duchess, and the other was Angela Clayton, who I did not know at the time was 16. So
she is the funniest human I've ever met in my entire life.
She is hilarious.
She's absolutely hysterical. You would never know by watching her videos. She's a riot.
And I mean, like, her videos are really funny and you could tell that she's really sassy, but she is also like LOL hilarious. Like, I can't read her text when I'm at work because I will laugh my butt off. But she is hilarious, and you know, I didn't know that, but you know, I just thought, holy crap, there's this girl and she makes the most beautiful historical costumes, and she looks like an actual like porcelain doll.
She does. She looks like a tiny little angel.
Yes. And again, totally underage. She's 22 now. My God.
Yeah.
But I love following along with her. So yeah, and I've been watching her videos forever.
Excellent. What's your theme song for sewing or crafting? And like, do you have a playlist? And if so, what's on that?
So in terms of music, I listen to a lot of kind of like pop female, like Miley Cyrus, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, you know, just, Pink. And it's really just kind of really super girly and just kind of loud and sassy. And it's fun, and I kind of love listening to it. And that's my jam when I'm sewing. When I want to feel inspired, I listen to Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Beethoven's Last Night.
Yes, that's a good one.
Okay, so you've heard it, right?
Oh yeah. I love Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh my God, I love Trans-Siberian Orchestra because like they made this whole story about how Beethoven's going to die and he's like visited by Mephistopheles, and they get Beethoven's music and they like totally rock it out, which is perfect for Beethoven already.
Yeah.
And
it's like Bill and Ted's, like how they make how they make Beethoven rock.
It's wonderful. So and for some reason, whenever I listen to it, I feel really inspired to work, and I don't know why that is. It just makes me inspired. So that's the one I listen to. My favorite band of all time is Queen, and Queen's A Night at the Opera is the other one that I listen to when I want to feel and get inspired. But you know, when I'm actually just sewing, I'm on a roll, it's Rocker Girl. I also just listen to a lot of Audible. I just really like listening to books.
So we've heard a little bit about music that helps you like get in the creative space, but who inspires you as far as like a person?
Madame du Pompadour. Like, she is, I mean, so I apologize to everyone who knows everything about Madame du Pompadour, and I'm probably pronouncing her name horribly, so I'm sorry.
I'll link to the Wikipedia article down below.
Okay. Well, she is like the Renaissance woman of the 18th century. She was basically the minister of the arts. She was beautiful. She was an actress. She put on plays. She also had this amazing way of commissioning other artists and bringing out creativity in other people. And she basically was the mother of all Rococo art and that swirly prettiness that I love. And on top of that, like, she just commissioned all these beautiful pieces. She designed her own dresses, made her own furniture, porcelain. Oh my God. And on top of it, she also like did her own wood cutting for fun. And she was the king's mistress. So and apparently she was the world's like nicest person. I don't know if people know this, but apparently like she would, if people were like saying mean things, she'd be like, guys, cut it out. And they would listen because she was the king's favorite. So
That's awesome.
She's my hero. If you're talking about like modern day people who are still alive, oh my God, I have so many. I have, you know, I just say like every single costumer inspires me. They're like, that's the reason I keep watching them when I sew, because I know that there's other people who suffer with the same things I suffer with, like sleeves are evil and, you know, zippers are the worst. And we all hate closures. Oh my God. I'm not the only one who still puts on like 80% of her dresses using safety pins and then hiding it with bows. Yep. Thank you, Noelle. And so I think that I feel really inspired by so many people in the entire community. I'm not even going to start saying names because I'm going to feel bad about the 50 people I'm going to miss.
Who have you mentored or helped along the way?
So I don't know how to answer this one really, because I try, everyone who asks me a question, I definitely like to sit down and talk to them as long as they need to. You know, people who are digitizing, I try to help along as well. There are people who I have fairy godmothered and definitely sent like tons of silks and stuff to, and embroidery and helped with. I will not say their names because saying it takes away the magic of being a fairy godmother.
For sure.
You know, I feel like I've been lucky and been mentored more than I have been mentoring, but I do try to pass it along as much as I can.
What's your advice on being a better mentor in our community?
I would say reach out. You know, when I started St. Louis Georgian Sewing Society, you know, a lot of people came from all different levels of sewing, and we, you know, we all help each other out. And that's one of the reasons I feel weird saying that I mentor someone, because that means I take on a purely teacher-like role. And I feel like I'm not that. We're all learning together. And yes, you know, I do help people out, but I also feel like for that, they also help me out in a lot of other different ways too. So I would say, you know, if you want to start mentoring, you know, just reach out. Like, do not give unsolicited advice. That is not what I'm telling you to do. I'm saying, you know, if someone reaches out and asks you for help or just says, you know, I need some help with this, like, you know, be nice, be friendly. And, you know, people really, I think in this hobby, I think a lot of us tend to be introverts. I think Noelle and I are one of the few people who are like true extroverts as well outside of here. A lot of people sew because they're introverts, and, you know, but that doesn't mean that they don't want friends. They still want friends, and they still want to be accepted, and they still want to be part of a family for the most part. And, you know, I think that a lot of us are just really shy.
If you're an extrovert, pick yourself up a group of introverts, like collect them because they need you.
And like the thing is, I started this Facebook group, and within like, you know, 2 months, we went from like me feeling like it was just me and one other friend that I had met from meetups to, you know, like 40 people who all love the same thing. And, you know, now when we go to the symphony, the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra loves us, by the way, because like, you know, they pick a piece and we will dress for the year that piece was first played. And it'll be like 37 people showing up. It's crazy. And this is St. Louis. We're not talking like New York City, you know, where I'm from. We're talking St. Louis, a smaller city. And we still have dozens of us who really love this very niche hobby.
So what is your favorite inspirational quote and who is it by?
Every day, I wish to make the world more beautiful than I found it. And Madame du Pompadour said that. And I actually get it printed on every single one of my planners, because that is, I think, my end goal, because I don't necessarily, you know, I think that for all of us today, beauty can mean different things. And, you know, it's really hard sometimes just every day getting up. I don't know how many lives I'm going to be able to save that day or anything, if any. But at least, you know, we can try to make it more beautiful, if only if by just being nice to one another, and also just kind of be better ourselves, and also make pretty dresses. But, you know, really, I think that we can make the world just prettier by ourselves being better.
Agreed.
And remember, Madame du Pompadour was super duper nice, guys. Like, I want to tell people this. I'm actually kind of annoyed because Kate Beaton's comic made Madame du Pompadour really like mean, and that was not what she was like.
Well, there was that Canada thing.
What was it, Canada? Oh yeah, she did say that about Canada. But to be fair, yeah, I've got nothing.
And Canada is like the country of all the nicest people.
I know. And what she said about Canada was, Canada is where I get my furs. It means nothing to me or something. Like, yeah,
It's okay for her to have been a little snarky. I mean, you can still be a kind person and have snark, right?
Not knocking her down. She was great.
She was great.
She was great.
I agree that kindness is beautiful. So, I mean, I think the fact that you want to bring that into the world and the fact that your heroine also kind of inspired that and brought that into the world, that's really cool that you have a connection to her in that way.
Yeah.
Well, if you could give costumers one piece of advice, like new costumers especially, what would it be?
I would say keep at it. Do a little bit every single day, and don't ever use the I don't have time as an excuse to drop a project forever. And I mean, there are times when you will have to put a project down. One thing I always try to remember is when I was a resident, I really did not have any time at all. Like every free moment I was either reading or sleeping, because there's so many different textbooks to read, and you really do work 80 hours a week, not counting all the reading time. So basically during that time, what I would do is I would make myself, on any day that I could, even if I was exhausted, I would make myself do about 20 minutes to 1 hour every single day. So even if I felt really discouraged at the end of a week, if I had 4 days where I worked 30 minutes a piece, that's 2 hours on a piece, which maybe was this much more of a trim added on. And because of it, I would still finish about one outfit every, I want to say, 4 to 6 months. So I was really slow, but I was constant. And I didn't really get very good, but I still always got better. So my piece of advice to people is just keep going. Slow progress is still progress. And, don't put that project aside for more than a week at a time, is my suggestion. Unless you just had a baby, in which case you can put it down for like 3 months.
Do you have any messages of inclusion or equity that you'd like to send out? Because we would love to make space for that.
So I just want to tell everyone, keep at it if you are a person of color and a lot of people are kind of getting you down. I know that it seems like a really hard field to like break into, because it seems so predominantly not friendly to minorities. But I have to say, like, overall, people are good. Like, I would say keep at it. It's a really rewarding hobby, and there's also a lot of really friendly and wonderful people here. And if anything, I'm so glad that the CIC is doing this, because it really does highlight that it's not just 1 or 2 of us doing this. There are a lot of us. And I want to say, if you're not a person of color, I would say please be kind to a person of color who does show up to your events. Please know that it's really, really hard for them to actually come out and put themselves out there, because it does not seem that welcoming, because history has not been that welcoming. So, and just kind of reach out, and never ever say to a person of color, it's nice to see a person of color here, or mention their color or their differences. Just welcome them and compliment them on their dress or court suit.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Christine. It was so lovely to get to know you a little bit better today. And thank you to our viewers for joining us today. We're going to leave a list of Christine's information down below, so you can go follow her on all the platforms. And I will also link any random stuff, Madame du Pompadour, articles down below for you guys to read.
Also, please do give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have a costumer of color that you think we should interview, please let us know. Leave it in the comments down below, along with a little love for Christine. Bye, everyone.
Bye.